The average time it takes to drive from Arizona to Florida is 31 hours, which is half the time it takes to read the 58,283 names of the U.S. military that served in the Vietnam War on the Vietnam Memorial Wall.
You have said, "Blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord." We recognize on this occasion that we are a nation under God. This faith in God is our foundation and heritage. Grant, as we remember those who died in Vietnam, that we would also remember the faith of our forebears. Eternal Lord, for a few short days, this community will gather around this replica that honors those whose lives were lost during the Vietnam conflict. These walls are hallowed by the names of over 58,000 men and women who died during this war. We honor them. We remember their sacrifice and acknowledge the pain of their families and communities and the turmoil that marked the era in which they served. Some gathered here have no memory of this nation's history, in this time of our nation. What they know they have learned at school or from movies like Good Morning Vietnam or Forrest Gump. May this exhibit serve to broaden and enhance their understanding of this critical time in our nation's history. Some standing here remember the nightly news that flashed across TV screens, telling of lost ground and lost lives. Some were not old enough to understand, but they knew something was terribly wrong in the world as their uncles and aunts shipped out to this faraway place called Vietnam.
On October 2nd through 6th, volunteers will spend 66 hours reading every name on the wall by reciting them over a PA system 24 hours a day from the start to finish of the exhibit.
Norman Walter Jr. Heck Richard Michael. Heck Ronald David. Heckler Frederick Merriman. Heckman Clarence Alvin. Heckman Lawrence Eugene. Heckman Pete Gerald. Hector George Anthony Jr. Heblin David Arthur.
During opening ceremony, over 150 attendees arrived, including a local high school. Students found names of relatives of their own or other teachers.
Men made the ultimate sacrifice, so for us, it wasn't just for nothing, and we can't just forget that. Something else, I guess, it's a lot of people here probably don't view it the same as I do. I know a lot of these kids, it's kind of sad to see some of these kids being as disrespectful as they're being, but I'll do my best personally to do what I can to honor these.
Those names, 1,300, are still unaccounted for, prisoners of war and missing in action, including Doug Gow's best friend and fellow seaman.
My friend John Durham, and the last time I saw John was when we graduated from high school, 1960, and he was killed. He was 19. So since then, I've never had another best friend. Because I lost him, I could never have another best friend. I didn't even know he was killed because I was still in Vietnam, right out of high school. I turned 19 years old in boot camp and went straight to Vietnam. So I thought it was my duty as an American citizen to go to Vietnam. I didn't have to. I lived in Ohio, where I'm originally from. It was only 300 miles to Canada, and a lot of my classmates went to Canada. But that's what I was fighting for. I was fighting for people's rights and freedoms in this country.
Whether directly influenced by the war or just influenced by history books, all agreed that this was just one honorable way to thank those who sacrificed their lives for the United States.